Breathwork is yoga for your mind. Yoga for the mind. The likeness that you're using yoga, breathing for the body to start to unlock different ranges of motion, different powers, different abilities latent within the body that are dormant because you have not used them. You have not taken that joint, you have not taken that muscle through its range of motion. That range will never be available to you unless you start to exercise that range of motion. And you do that through the vehicle of the breath with the mind. With the mind. So when you're flooding the brain with oxygen, you're starting to push blood, you're starting to push nervous innervation to different parts of your mind to unlock different aspects, different centers of your creativity. And the key is the breath. The key is the breath is not just cognitively based. It's in your body. It's your subconscious mind. You heard this term before, or I should have explained this term before. Your body, pardon me, your body is your unconscious mind, your subconscious mind, right? In here, in the endocrinology, in your nerve plexuses, is so much potential that we don't realize. And this is the direction, occultism, esoteric circles, and I am trying to take you in. It is not just about Shakti energy. It's not just about SR. SR is the first step. It's the first step. It's Muladhara. It's the root chakra. It's the first nerve plexus. And the tension, the Shakti, Kundalini, whatever you want to call it, once you can begin to breathe into those nerve plexuses in the pelvic floor by using prana, because it has a connection up here as well, you start to regain energy. You start to get back and cultivate more power, and that you can start to transmute into different areas of your life. You can start to redirect it into the heart, into your creativity, into your intuition, into your capacity to love, into your capacity to build connection. Your heart's electromagnetic field is larger than your brain's. Your heart is this magnet, this powerful magnet which expands in its diameter, in its circumference. When you are channeling Shakti through prana into the nerve plexus. I know I'm using a lot of Vedantic terminology here, but the most scientific lens I can pitch it to you is nervous biological energy, or you could say electromagnetic energy, right? So you're using all this nervous energy in the pelvic floor that will otherwise be transmuted into frustration. If you don't move it, you have to move it. You have to breathe it up. You can start to displace that energy into different parts of your endocrinology, your chakras. And in them lay latent, abilities that, you'd never have access to. And this gets even deeper. It goes beyond just cultivating Shakti. I mean, we're talking about the latent potential that you have in your emotional turmoil, right? One of the techniques that I teach in my course, Sexual Energy Mastery, and one of the reasons that I'm able to have better emotional jurisdiction in my life is because I recognize that I am stretching, right? Like yoga, stretching and accessing the nerves that are related to dense, heavy emotions that would have me relapse, right? So when I'm getting that, when the emotion of lust appears in your mind, it is a reaction. What is emotion? It's energy in motion, right? The energy in motion in your pelvic floor, the nervous energy in motion in your pelvic floor. So, are we our emotions? Are we our emotions? Or are we just the observer of our emotions? We are just the observer. You should know this. This is basic. If you're familiar with Eastern teachings, Taoism, Hinduism, Buddhism, You recognize that you are the observer. You are the Atman. You are the Pneuma, okay? You are the soul. You are the observer. It is false to identify with these emotions because then you become the victim of that nervous energy. The energy runs you. You're driving a car and you've just let go of the steering wheel and you've let somebody else in and you're trapped in the back seat. Help. I'm not in control anymore. You're not in control. So what do? We recognize when we describe when we're having an emotion, it is a lie. It is a lie to say that we are lustful. You have become lustful, right? You've become lust. You've become that stale, stagnant, nervous, frustrated energy in the pelvic floor. You experience lust, but you are not lustful. One is identifying with the energy, and one is the observer of the energy. What opportunities are given to the individual that is just the observer? Control, jurisdiction, power, agency over your life. If you have agency, how do you exercise it? You exercise it through the medium of the breath, the bridge between the conscious and the unconscious. Think about it. How often in a day are you conscious of your breath? And yet you're still here, yet you're still alive. It's the number one priority we have in our life is to have access to breath or access to prana. And yet you are still here. And yet we can have conscious access to the breath as well as it going off on autopilot. So the bridge between the conscious and the unconscious mind. So if it is true that we can access this unconscious breath consciously, then so too we can have access of the autonomic nervous system. And by extension, the emotions and latent energy within the body. Again, this is just the start, guys. This is just the start. When you get good at this, the real magic happens. You can start to transmute this energy from the pelvic floor into the solar plexus. You can start to transmute it into the heart, into your intuition, right? This stuff doesn't happen overnight. I'm not claiming that I have siddhis yet. Siddhis is a Vedantic term for superpowers, right? There's some crazy stories in some of these Vedic terminology, Vedic books like Autobiography of the Yogi, when Paramahansa Yogananda is visiting these gurus with siddhis, superpowers. They have some siddhis to go completely invisible. I know, might be a stretch for our imagination. Some siddhis to create different smells out of the hand, different flowers out of the hand, as if by a magic trick. Once you control the nervous system, the endocrinology, Rudolf Steiner says you start to develop as an extension, as a kind of the groundwork of having control over your autonomic nervous system, the spiritual organs. And then come siddhis, then come capacities like clairvoyance, like precognition. This is what I believe. Maybe a good place to say that these are still theories at this time. But through my research, what I am doing with the breath, with yoga, with getting access in the body, more freedom, more control, more flexibility, more access to dormant centers of the body, dormant centers of the mind. You are literally unlocking your potential. You are unlocking your potential. I mentioned in the previous video, this doesn't happen overnight. This is deep work. It's not enough to dedicate 10, 15 minutes to something like this every other day. The individuals who are developing this capacity know this instrument inside and out and beyond into the astral. And they renounce Western culture. They become sannyasis. They become the ascetic. They become the hermit. They become the sadhu. And they just explore here. They explore inside. right? They have better control over the nervous system, and by extension, the endocrinology, and by extension of that, the spiritual organs. This is powerful stuff, and this is where I want to take you guys. I hope you're along for the ride. I hope, we're just getting started. We're just getting started. This is going to be a wild journey. And I hope you're along for the ride. These aren't theories. Facts. Speak soon.